Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone for today's Bhakti Shastri Bhagavad Gita Ishopanishad class. So, we have to see the 16th verse. We have completed till 15th verse. Okay, so we will start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Namo Vishnupadaya Vishnuprashthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvasesha Nivadi Pashatya Deshtarani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurat Vishaya Namaha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavadesho Vishubhanusute Dev Pranamami Haripriye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Just Guru Garak.
Okay, today, can someone volunteer to read? Thank you. Oh, yes, bro. So you can recite. Okay, so okay, we have to recite shlokas now. Sorry. Yeah, you can recite along with me. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Ishavasyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunjita Ma Krita Kasya Siddhanam. So this is the 16th verse. Pushan ekarshe yama surya prajapatya vyuharasmin samuha. Bro, you can recite Sanatan Gopal.
Yes, bro. So, bro, I'm just starting my laptop. So, yeah, I'll continue with mobile until my laptop starts, bro. Yes, bro. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, so you'll recite. Acha, you need some time.
Sorry, bro. Just
Yeah.
yes, bro.
Okay, so you'll recite the first line.
Okay, bro. So, I don't see the first line in the.
This
Okay.
one.
Tate
This one.
pashyami yo. Oh, I'm so sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. I'm looking on the mobile, so it's not very comfortable. Ushan eka ekrashe ima surya prajapatya vyuya rashim samuha.
Tejo yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami.
Tejo yatte rupam kalyanat tamam tatte paschami.
Yo asau purusha soham asmi.
Yo asau purushaha so aham asmi.
O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of God, like unto the sun, as am I. Yeah. So, in the previous, this is similar to previous shloka. In the previous shloka, the devotee is asking, is praying so that he can see Lord's face. So here he is saying he can see the Lord's form. And here the words, these refer to different types of demigods and all, like Ekarshe, Yama, Prajapati and all. Since Lord is the source of all this, Surya is also called, I think, yeah, no. Lord is source of all this, Surya, Prajapati, Yama and all, so he can be also designated by those names. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. Okay. So you can read the purport now.
Yes.
Background.
The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quantity. The sun is one, but the molecules of the sun's rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute part of the sun, and the sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. Within the sun itself resides the sun god, and similarly within the supreme spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, from which the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is emanating. The Lord enjoys his eternal pastime as verified in Brahma Samhita 5.29. चिंतामणि प्रकर स्वप्न सुकल्प वृक्षा लक्षावशेषु सुरभिर्विपालयन्तं लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. The Brahma Jyoti is described in the Brahma Samhita as the rays emanating from the supreme spiritual planet Golok Vrindavan, just as the sun's rays emanate from the sun globe. Until one surpasses the glare of Brahma Jyoti, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. The impulseless philosophers, blinded as they are by the dazzling Brahma Jyoti, can realize neither the factual abode of the Lord nor his transcendental form. Limited by their poor fund of knowledge, such impulseless thinkers cannot understand the all blissful transcendental form of the Lord Krishna. In this prayer, therefore, Sri Isopanishad petitions the Lord to remove the effulgent rays of Brahma Jyoti so that the pure devotee can see his all blissful transcendental form.
So here the impersonalist philosophers mostly refers to Brahmavadis because they are blinded as they are by the dazzling Brahma Jyoti, because they are attracted to Brahma Jyoti, so they don't focus on they don't desire to know further what is further than Brahma Jyoti and all. They accept that Bhagavan feature also is there, but they are not interested or attracted to that. And as Prabhupada explained, like the sun means there is sunlight as well as the sun planet, sun god, all are there. Similarly, Bhagavan means Bhagavan's effulgence is there, which is Brahma Jyoti, and Bhagavan is also there. Can
By
continue.
Yeah, by realizing the impersonal Brahmajyoti, one experiences the auspicious aspect of the Supreme. And by realizing the Paramatma or all-pervading feature of the Supreme, one experiences an even more auspicious enlightenment. But by meeting the personality of Godhead himself face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious feature of the Supreme. Since he is addressed as the primeval philosopher and maintainer and well-wisher of the universe, the supreme truth cannot be impersonal. This is the verdict of Sri Isopanishad. The word Pumsan, the word Pushan, maintainer, is especially significant. And although the Lord maintains all beings, he specifically maintains his devotees. After surpassing the impersonal Brahmajyoti and seeing the personal aspect of the Lord and his most auspicious eternal form, the devotee realizes the absolute truth in full.
Yeah. So, Brahman is also auspicious because it and there one can experience the sat feature of the absolute truth. And Paramatma is more auspicious because there one can experience both the Sat and Chit. So the Sat is the eternality feature of the absolute truth. And in Paramatma, both Sat and Chit means one experiences that Lord is also conscious being. And in Bhagavan, one can experience all three, Sat, Chit, Anand. That's why Bhagavan is the most auspicious. That is the reasoning Prabhupada is using here. And then Prabhupada is explaining about the maintainer. Maintainer means implies that he is a person. So that is that. So you have a question where you have to explain from different references from Ishopanishad purpose versus how Prabhupada is establishing the personal form of the Lord. So this is like one kind of reference. Yes, Prabhu, we can continue.
In this Bhagavad Sandarbh, in his Bhagavad Sandarbh, Srila Jeev Goswami states the complete conception of the absolute truth is realized in the personality of Godhead because he is almighty and possesses full transcendental potencies. The full potency of the absolute truth is not realized in the Brahmajyoti. Therefore, Brahman realization is only partial realization of personality of Godhead. O learned sages, the first syllable of the word Bhagwan, Bha, has two meaning. The first is one who fully maintains, and the second is guardian. The second syllable, ga, means guide, leader, or creator. The syllable van indicates that every being lives in him, and that he also lives in every being. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagwan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without a tinge of material inability.
So the word Bhagavan, it has these three parts. So means this is Jiva Goswami is explaining this to make the point that Bhagavan is the complete absolute truth. Brahmajyoti is only a partial manifestation of the absolute truth. In Bhagavan feature, the absolute truth is completely manifested. All the potencies are completely manifested. So he gives this different meanings. For Ba, he gives one who fully maintains or one who is the guardian. Gha is the guide, leader, or creator. So here the Ananda potency is being more explained in all these aspects. One means every being lives in him in the sense that every living being is a part and parcel of God, of Bhagavan, and he lives in every being in the form of Paramatma. Yeah. Yes,
The
Prabhu.
Lord, yes, sir. The Lord fully maintains his unalloyed devotees. and he guides them progressively on the path towards devotional perfection. As the leader of his devotee, he ultimately awards the desired result of devotional service by giving himself to them. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord face to face by his causeless mercy. Thus, the Lord helps his devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet Golok Vrindavan. Being the creator, he can bestow all necessary qualification upon his devotees so that they can ultimately reach him. The Lord is the cause of all causes. In other words, since there is nothing that caused him, he is the original cause. Consequently, he enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by him, and for he expands himself as the Purusa, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of material manifestation. By such expansion, he creates, maintains, and annihilates the cosmic manifestation.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So Lord, or proposition, Lord fully maintains his unalloyed devotees. If a devotee is unalloyed, then Lord fully maintains them. But let's say if devotee is alloyed, or if he is not unalloyed always, so then Lord may not personally always fully maintain them, but they may be also there as per their destiny also. Whatever comes, they may also have to go through that. So one should not have, unless one is confident that he is fully unalloyed, one should not have that expectation that Lord should maintain me. As the leader of his devotees, he ultimately awards. So the best result of devotional service is Lord gives himself to the devotee. So that is the best result. Yeah. Lord is the cause of all causes. So Lord is generally with his internal potency, either Radharani or Mother Sita or Mother Lakshmi. And the external potency, Lord engages it in creation, but Krishna or Narayana are not directly involved with it. Their plenary expansions, and like Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshay Vishnu, the Purushas, Karanodakshay Vishnu, they interact with the material energy of the Lord. And through the help of material energy, they oversee the process of creation and maintenance and destruction. Okay, so we have some exercise. Okay,
Bro,
so
can I ask something? Can I ask something, bro?
what? Yeah.
Bro, how exactly is it different, as in the Purus, the expansion, the Purus and the Lord? How exactly we should understand that it's not direct manifestation of the Lord? That part I was not so clear.
It's not the direct man. No, it's like Krishna is not directly interacting with Maya and all.
Mhm.
As Vishnu, he interacts, means that way.
Yes.
That's what, no? That is what I was.
No, bro, I was trying to understand that how are the different, Prabhu? You said that Krishna or Narayan are not exactly doing this
Yeah, creation and all.
Purusa creation and all.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
but the Mhm.
yes. Continue what you want to
but the
say.
expansion, but the expansions like Mahavishnu and Garbhodaksha,
Yeah, so
all
they are
those.
expansions, no? They are no, they
Mhm.
are expansions, no?
Okay. Okay.
So
Yes.
okay, so you can take around 5 minutes, and you can, yeah, 7 minutes you can take. Give examples of from Shastra that shows how Lord maintains his unalloyed devotees. Some examples. And give examples from Shastra where Lord gives himself to his unalloyed devotees. Giving himself means like no becoming subservient to their desires, like that. Okay. So you can think about what we will discuss. Okay, for the first question. Examples where Lord maintains his unallowed devotees. Okay. Yes, Radhika Gopika Mataji.
Prabhuji, he saved Parikshit Maharaj when he was in the womb of Uttara.
Okay, okay. Yes, thank you. Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj, what pastime?
He went to the jungle alone.
Okay. Acha, okay. Thank you. Okay, Deepika Mataji.
Prabhuji, Prahlad Maharaj, when Lord himself came from the pillar to protect him.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So you can also tell the pastime instance. Okay, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the Lord maintains the Sudama family.
Your sound volume is very less.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, now better.
Yes, Prabhuji, Sudama's family, Sudama Brahman family, Lord maintains all the things. Initially, but after that, after once met, Sudama met the Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna gave the Ishvara of Swarga to Sudama.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, Sanatan Gopal.
Prabhupada, especially when he traveled to Western world without any material possessions and all, and he got heart attacks in the ship.
Okay, thank you. Ambrish Pran Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we have this like pastime of Kola Vecha Sridhar in CC. So their Lord personally goes and takes care of him, like purchasing the banana and products from him.
Okay. Thank you. Jiva Mataji.
Prabhuji, Amrish Maharaj. There was somebody's pastime.
Okay. Thank you. Balraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Srivas Pandit. Srivas Pandit himself says to the Lord asks him, like, how do you maintain your family? So Srivas Pandit, by your mercy.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Sangeeta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So recently, Tulsi Prabhuji told us one pastime at Pimpri, which is in between the Jagannath Puri and the Bhubaneswar. So there was one devotee named Raghubera. He was a fisherman, and his like livelihood was just depend on the fishing. It was his like traditional business, but he didn't wanted to do that business, but due to like there was no other like business for him, he has to do. So but he was like actually hearing from the saints who were coming like near the sea, and he once he decided that I won't do this business even though like I won't get anything to eat or something. And her mother and her wife, sorry, his mother and his wife was dependent on him. So once he decided that I won't do, so first day he just took the net on the sea and didn't like catch any of the fish. He went back as it is, means without anything. So first day, both of them, like his mother and wife's thought case, today there won't be anything he could receive. So he came back like this. But second day again he went and just sat there without doing anything. So second day, then they asked him, what happened? So he told ki, I won't be doing this business anymore because I don't want to kill these animals, fishes like this. So 3 days like this happened, but all their relatives and the friends came to him and just like told him ki, if you are not going to do this business, then how your family will be maintained? These two, both of them will die, and you will get like the bad karma, sinful reaction of it. So he decided next day to go with net and again do fishing. But as soon as he goes and spread the net, he got a very big fish. And as soon as he come out, and he was about to kill that fish. Fish spoke, Narayan, Narayan. So it was very amazing for him. Like first time in his life, he saw some fish speaking like this. So he was again got confused. He was just requesting Lord, praying Lord, what is happening with me? First, I decided that not to kill, but anyhow, due to the circumstances, I have to do it. And now, when I caught this fish, he is speaking. I never saw. So now you only tell me what should I do? Shall I continue with this business or not? Unless and until you come and tell me the answer of this question, I will not go home. So that day he was just sitting in the jungle around near the sea beach, and he didn't went home. So at night, what happened? A tiger came, and then he was just chanting intensely at that time, because he was near death, no. So as the tiger approached to him, he just opened his mouth, and the tiger opened his mouth, and now the Raghu was he's thinking, now I'll surely die, so why not to just concentrate on the Lord's name. So he was intensely chanting just by closing his eyes, and the tiger came very close to him. But for at that time, he was so intensely chanting that he didn't realize that tiger was near him. So for a long time, he was just chanting, and thinking that now I'll die. But after few hours, he realized that I'm still alive. So he tried to open his eyes slowly, and as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw light everywhere, and there was no tiger, nothing. So he realized that God has just helped me in this. So he then become very firm कि unless and until I get the answer of this question, कि shall I continue my business or not, I won't go home. So for next 4 days, he was just continuously chanting. Now the fear of death and everything else was out of his mind, and everything. He was just concentrating and just like chanting very intensely. So on the 7th day, a Brahmana came on that road, and he said to him, what are you doing here? Your family members are crying there. You didn't went home. They didn't eat anything, nothing. You go home. So he said, no, unless and until God comes and tell me what should I do, I won't go home. Then Brahmana said, do you think God comes like this way and speaks to the persons like you? So he said, if a fish can say Narayana, then why can't God come here and tell me? So he was very firm. So the Brahmana tried to convince him many ways that you go home, God will not come. But he was so firm in his faith and chanting that he didn't agree. Then after looking at this, the Brahmana said, I am the only God. You ask me whatever you want to ask. He said, no, no, no. Whatever description I have heard in the scriptures from the saintly persons, this is not you. That is not the God. God is like this. He has counsel and so many other things he was describing. And as soon as he started describing, the Brahmana took the form. Like when he said there is a conch shell in hand. So in the Brahmana's hand, the conch shell come like a lord, then the mala and all those whatever descriptions he was telling, the same way the God was manifesting in that form. And finally he appeared like a Narayana in front of him, and then he just paid obeisances and asked his question. Now, this is the only business by which I can do my means earn my livelihood. There are two dependents on me. What should I do? So God said, "Ki you don't do this. I'll arrange for you." So he said, then now you go home. Your family members are waiting. He said, no, no, there are so many questions I want to ask you. So in line 4-5 questions he asked, and the last question, before the last question, God said, now you go home. So he said, no, no, I won't go home. So God said, what do you want now? So he said, last question. Whenever I'll get some problem, I'll be in a trouble, you should appear in front of me. If you promise me, then I'll go home. So God said, okay. Then he went home. So he was like in a fear that now what my family members and other people will say. But they were very overjoyed to see him. They took him to the home, and like many good things happened. So the next day when he woke up again, his wife and mother asked, what to do now? What should we eat? He said, wait, God has promised me that I'll arrange, so something will get arranged. But for 4 hours, just they were asking and nothing came out. So at 10 o'clock, he was thinking, now what should I do? God has promised me, but nothing is happening. So he went out of the home. It was not home, a hut. So he went out, and when he was just going on the road, somebody came running to him and asking, where is Raghu Bera's home? So he said, what happened? So he said, ki, there was some program at our home. So the Brahmana has told to donate all our whatever preparations done, all bhogas to you. And like this way, like for that day, at least for both the time, he got many things. So later on also, God like Jagannath ji has maintained him for till his last breath. So there is much more story, but this is one example that I wanted to tell.
Yeah, thank
Sorry,
you.
taking too much of
No,
time.
it's nice. I'm not so good at pastimes, but okay. Okay, we'll go to the second question. Give examples from Shastra where Lord gives himself to his unalloyed devotees. Okay, Radhika Gopika Mataji.
Prabhuji, he became the charioteer for Arjuna.
Yes, nice, thank you. Okay, Shashwati Mataji.
Prabhuji, Krishna gives himself to Yashoda Maya.
Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, Soumya Mataji.
Prabhuji, Rukmini Devi, when she wrote letters to Krishna, he himself came and saved her and married her.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Sangeeta Mataji.
When first time Sri Ram met Hanumanji, so he gave himself, or even when he searched for Sita at that time also, Ramji gave Alingan.
Yeah, embraces. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu. Your voice is not coming.
The pastimes of the Bali Maharaj, the Lord becomes the Lord.
Yeah. Lord becomes his doorkeeper. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah, this verse also there comes in Mukundmala Stotram. Shri Vallabheti Varadeti Daya Pareti Bhakta Priyeti Babaluntana Kovideti Tateti Naga Shayaneti Jagan Nivaseti. So his Bhakta Priyeti and Babaluntana Kovideti means his devotees are very dear to Lord, and he's also Lord is very also expert in freeing the devotees from the influence of Maya. Okay. Yes, Sanatan Gopal can continue. The living entities here.
The living entities are also differentiated expansion of the Lord's self, and because some of them desire to be Lord and imitate the Supreme Lord, He allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over nature. Because of the presence of His parts and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is stirred into action and reaction. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord Himself in His plenary feature as Paramatma, the super soul, who is one of the Purusas.
Yeah. So, as Prabhupada is saying that because of the living entity's desire to lord over material nature, he comes into this world. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. And also, Paramatma is defined as Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. So he is the owner of
Prabhuji is connected.
Harish Prabhu, I can spotlight. Okay. And, okay. Yeah. So, okay. Sorry, there was some interruption. Okay, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu can continue. Thus, there is gulf of difference. Bro, you're muted. Sanatan Gopal Prabhu, you're there?
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity, Atma, and the controlling Lord, Paramatma. The soul and the super soul, Paramatma, um, uh, is the controller, and Atma is the controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of.
From here.
So your voice is breaking. Okay. As the constant companion of the living being. Jivatma is Anu. Jivatma is Anu, infinitesimal, and Paramatma is Vibhu, infinite. The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as the potential states and form, which the Jiva Sakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Since the Lord is the origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, he is the origin of all living entities and all else that exists. Those who know this engage at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such pure and fully cognizant devotee of Lord are fully attached to him in heart and soul. And whenever such devotees assemble with the similar devotees, they have no engagement but the glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. There you go.
Yeah, so here Prabhupada is telling about Ham Sarvasya Prabho Mattasakam Pravatate, then Machitta Madgata Prana. So that those verses he's telling. So here Prabhupada mentioned those who know this, that all living entities and everything, the source is the Lord. So can do again another exercise. This we will not discuss, you can just write down yourself. So you can take around 7 minutes and you can list 10 objects which are very, which are your basic needs, and see how they are ultimately provided by the Lord. And then 10 objects, people who are very dear to you, and how they are also ultimately controlled or given by the Lord. Yeah. So it can take around 7 minutes, then we will resume our discussion.
వాళ్ళ కింద ఫ్లోర్ తెలుసు కదా అనుపమ మాతాజీ అర్థమైందా నువ్వు కొంచెం వెళ్ళి రాపరా
తీసుకెళ్ళండి
క్యారీ బ్యాగ్ తీసుకోపోరా
ఆ పైన రెండు ఇక్కడ ఇది
Hare Krishna, Vrajapati Gopinath Prabhu, can you please mute?
Okay. Anish, so you can spotlight me again or make me post. I hope you have done the exercise. Sanatan Gopal bro, can you continue this remaining paragraph?
Sure, bro. Those who are not as perfect as the pure devotees, namely those who have realized only the Brahman and Paramatma features of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of the perfect devotees. The Lord always helps the pure devotees by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts. And thus, out of his special favor, he dissipates all the darkness of ignorance. The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on their own strength. As stated in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, the Lord can be known only by those whom he favors and not by anyone else. Such special favors are bestowed upon his pure devotees only. Sri Isopanishad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah. So here praying means means generally in the yoga path and in the path of jnana, prayers are not so common. They may pray in the means of glorifying the absolute truth and all, but they don't pray for some to give some strength and all. Generally they depend on their own strength, but bhakti is a path of grace. So that's why the progress also happens quicker, because Lord's grace is involved. Lord also personally involves. But in path of jnana and yoga, Lord reciprocates, but he's not personally involved in uplifting the practitioner or helping the practitioner. So that is the advantage. Yeah. So Prabhupada in these two paragraphs, he paraphrased the verses, the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so Prabhupada focused on the how Lord is maintainer and that aspect. We will proceed to the next verse. Next two verses are prayers, but at the prayers of a, you can say, Jnana Mishra Bhakta at the time of death. Now, they don't appear pure devotional, so that Prabhupada highlights that we will also discuss. Okay. Vayur anilam amrutam atedam basmantam shariram.
Vayur anila amritam athedam basmatanam sariram.
Om krutosmara krutam smara krutosmara krutam smara.
Om Krito Smara Kritam Smara Kritau Smara Kritam Smara.
The translation: let this temporary body be burned to ashes. Basmantam shariram, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices. Because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. Yes, Prabhu, you can read the purport.
The temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. The Bhagavad Gita 2.20 clearly says that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated, nor does he lose his identity. The identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. On the contrary, it is the material dress that is formless, and that takes shape according to the form of the indestructible person. Very well. No living entity is originally formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. The mantra verifies the fact that the living entity exists after the annihilation of the material body.
Yeah, okay, just a minute. So the mantra verifies the fact. Yeah, because he is thinking of the existence after death. So that way proposing there is existence after death. And yeah, generally Buddhists and Advaitins, they say soul is formless because soul is going to again merge into Brahman and all, or soul becomes Brahman. And Buddhists like no soul after nirvana, then one ceases to exist like that. So that is Buddhists and Advaitins mainly think like that. And yeah, foreign in the sense because body is material and soul is spiritual, so that's why body is foreign to the Atma. Yeah. Okay, next can continue in the material world.
In the material world, material nature displays wonderful workmanship by creating varieties of bodies for living beings according to their propensities for sense gratification. The living entity who wants to taste stool is given a material body that is quite suitable for eating stool, that of a hog. Similarly, one who wants to eat the flesh and blood of other animals may be given a tiger's body equipped with suitable teeth and claws. But the human being is not meant for eating flesh, nor does he have any desire to taste stool. Even in the most abominable state, human teeth are so made that they can chew and cut fruits and vegetables, although there are two canine teeth, so that primitive human can eat flesh if they so desire.
So as per the desires of the Atma, accordingly, a body is given so that Atma can fulfill those desires. Provided, of course, he deserves also that body. Yeah.
But in any case, the material bodies of all animals and men are foreign to the living entity. They change according to the living entity's desire and sense gratification. In the cycle of evolution, the living entity changes bodies one after another. When the world was full of water, the living entity took an aquatic form. Then he passed vegetable. Then he passed to vegetable life. From vegetable life to worm life. From worm life to bird life. From bird life to animal life, and from animal life to the human life. The highest developed form of this human form, when it is possessed of full sense of spiritual knowledge. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body, which will be turned to ashes, and allows the air of life to merge into the eternal reservoir of air. The living being the living being's activities are performed within the body through the movement of different kinds of air, known in summary as pranavayu. The yogis generally study how to control the airs of the body. The soul is supposed to rise from one circle of air to another until it rises to the Brahma Randhra, the highest circle. From that point, the perfect yogi can transfer himself to any planet he likes. The process is to give up one material body and then enter into another. But the highest perfection of such changes occurs only when the living entity is able to give up the material body altogether, as suggested in the mantra, and enters into the spiritual atmosphere where he can develop a completely different type of body, a spiritual body, which never has to meet death or change.
Yeah. So in the before paragraph, Prabhupada is saying, yeah. So he's describing out evolution. So here the Vedic concept is Atma is evolving through different bodies. Atma is evolving through, from aquatic to vegetable to worm, bird, animal, and human. But as per of course, now science also doesn't so much tell, but according to the Darwin, the body is evolving. So that is the difference between Vedic and the scientific, the medieval scientific, you can say. So again, this verse is not recommending that one should commit suicide, because he's saying give up the material body. So in the sense that because the material body is going to be temporary, so you don't be try for liberation. It's not like one should commit suicide. So, and because this prayer is being spoken at almost at the time of death, so the devotee or the person who is speaking this prayer, he's deciding that let the death come as soon as possible, and so he's preparing for death. That the living entities are, and yeah, generally it is said that the Atma stays at that region where the different airs of the body balance each other. So that is generally the reason of heart. And based on the location, so a yogi, he has to elevate his Atma through breathing exercises and all, so that when he wants to leave his body, if the Atma is at Brahmarandra and all, then he said that it will go to the higher planets. So, but it's a complicated procedure. So that's why Prabhupada is saying better is to get rid of this material body, by striving for liberation and through devotional service or whatever. Yes, Prabhupada can continue. A person may have a bona fide.
A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. Okay. The qualification is that a person always the person always engages himself in Krishna consciousness, and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. Purport 10.10.
Yes, so this is the purport of Tesham Sasata Yuktanam Bhajitam Priti Purva. So their Prabhupada also explains that if somebody is not intelligent to read or understand Shastra, etc., but if he sincerely renders service to the deities, to devotees, etc., so Lord will give him that understanding. Teshameva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamah nashyami atmabhavasto jnanadeepena bhasvata. So that Lord will do that.
Here in material world, material nature forces the living entity to change his body due to his different desires for sense gratification. These desires are represented in the various species of life, from germs to the most perfected material bodies. And those are Brahma and the demigods. All of these living entities have bodies composed of matter in different shapes. The intelligent man sees oneness not in the variety of the bodies, but in the spiritual identity. The spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is the same whether he is in the body of a hog or the body of a demigod. The living entity takes on different bodies according to his pious and vicious activities. The human body is highly developed and has full consciousness.
Yeah. Okay. So these 5 koshas are there. They are explained in the Upanishads. The human being, he has the capacity to rise to Anandamaya Kosh. There is Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh. Annamaya Kosh is only food. Pranamaya Kosh is more conscious of the energy to work and all. Manomaya Kosh is being conscious of emotions. Then Vijnanamaya Kosh is intuition, understanding and all. Anandamaya Kosh is spiritual happiness. So human body has the facility to come till Anandamaya Kosh. But other bodies, they don't have that facility. Like animals, at most they may have Anandamaya, Annamaya. Some some very snakes and all, they may have only Annamaya Kosh. Like little evolved animals like tiger and all, they may have also Pranamaya Kosh. And Manomaya, like emotions also, like cows and all, they have emotions towards their children. So cubs, and so that is also there in some animals. But Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya, they don't have. But the human beings have that. Means human beings have the capacity, but not everyone will come to that level. Somebody, a human being also can be also in Annamaya Kosh. But that potential and facility is given. Okay. Can continue.
According to the Bhagavad Gita 10.19, the most perfect man surrenders unto the Lord after many, many lifetimes of culturing knowledge. The culture of knowledge reaches perfection only when the knower comes to the point of surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Otherwise, even after attaining knowledge of one's spiritual identity, if one does not come to the point of knowing that the living entities are eternal parts and parcel of the whole and can never become the whole, one has to fall down again into the material atmosphere. Indeed, one must fall down even if he has become one with the Brahmajyoti.
Yeah. So the Prabhupada is again paraphrasing the translation of Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamati Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So this is an important element of Jnana Yoga, which again you'll study in Bhagavad Gita, that they have to accept the authority of the Lord Narayan, the Bhagavan feature. So then only they will get perfection in Jnana Yoga. Otherwise, they cannot get perfection. Or that is important, and if by that realization they may also take to Bhakti Yoga also. So both are possible. Yeah. So without that element of bhakti, one will not attain perfection in Jnana Yoga. And if that is not there, then if they become offensive and they say Bhagwan is not there, Bhagwan is it is not correct and all. So then they may even go away from the path of Jnana Yoga also. Yes, Prabhu, can continue.
As we have learned from previous mantras, the Brahmajyoti emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord is full of spiritual sparks that are individual entities with the full sense of existence. Sometimes these living entities want to enjoy their senses and therefore they are placed in the material world to become false lords under the direction of the senses. The desire for lordship is the material disease of the living beings, for under the spell of sense enjoyment, he transmigrates through the various bodies manifested in the material world. Becoming one with the Brahmajyoti does not represent mature knowledge. Only by surrendering unto the Lord completely and developing one's sense of spiritual service does one reach the highest perfectional stage.
Yeah.
Lordship.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
just a minute. So that's a note. Yeah. So again, Prabhupada is telling the translation of Manasasthani Indriyani Prakrutistani Karshati. So because of the desire to enjoy, so the living entity, the living being is given the material body and he tries to enjoy. So that is the whole reason why one is in the material world, because of the desire to enjoy. So that's what Prabhupada is saying.
In this mantra, the living entity prays to to enter the spiritual kingdom of God after relinquishing the material body and material air. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death with full consciousness of his past deeds and of the material of the ultimate goal. One who is completely under the rule of material nature remembers the heinous activities he performed during the existence of of his material body, and consequently he gets another material body after death. Bhagavad Gita 8.6 confirms this truth. यं यं वापि स्मरं भावं तच्चे अन्ते कलेवरं तं तं एव इति कौन्तेया सदा तद्भावभावितः. Whatever states of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Thus, the mind carries the living entity's propensities into the next life. Unlike the simple.
Just a minute. Yeah. So here the devotee is remembering his different activities. Means exactly he's not a full-fledged devotee, but he has devotion. So he knows like what all he has done, and he understands that again, no, it's a suffering. No, staying in this material body is a suffering. So that's why he is praying to the Lord to remember what all good things he has done and grant him liberation. So that's why one cannot just devotional service, one cannot just adjust his mind at the time of death. So whatever one activities one does throughout life, so that based on that only one will accordingly remember at the time of death. Yeah. One cannot suddenly change his consciousness at the time of death. So that's why one should prepare for death throughout life. Okay, yes, bro, you can continue. Unlike the simple animals.
Unlike the simple animals who have no developed mind, the dying human being can remember the activities of his life like dreams at night. Therefore, his mind remains surcharged with material desires, and consequently, he cannot enter into the spiritual kingdom with the spiritual body. The devotees, however, develop a sense of love for Godhead by practicing devotional service to the Lord, even if at the time of death a devotee does not remember his service to the Lord. The Lord does not forget him. The prayer is given to remind the Lord to the devotee's sacrifices. But even if there is no such reminders, the Lord does not forget the service rendered by his pure devotee.
Yeah. So there is a verse actually in Varah Puran. Yatadi doshena mad bhakto mam na chasmaret ham smarami mad bhakta nayami parama gatim. If my devotee is unable to remember me at the time of death because of disturbances felt within the body at the time of death, then I shall remember my devotee and take him back to my supreme abode. This question was asked by Ramanujacharya through Kanchipurna to Varadaraj. And Varadaraj, I think, quotes this verse and tells that even if the devotee fails to remember, I remember. But again, Lord also remembers what the devotee has done throughout his life. So if one does throughout his life, then whether he's able to remember at the time of death or not, but Lord will remember. So that's why here in this verse, there is no need to tell the Lord, no, please remember what all I have done. Lord will naturally remember that and accordingly give the result. Yeah, like Krishna remembered Bhishma. Even so, Krishna naturally remembered Bhishma at the time of Bhishma passing away. So, right. Okay, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu, any question?
Then probably, are you able to hear me?
Little low.
Yes, now.
Yeah, now it's better.
Prabhuji, actually, so this verse, how can we miss? We need not worry to pray this verse because
Correct. See,
because
that's what
the contradiction in both the place.
So there is contamination of the desire for liberation in the devotional service of this verse. So that's why the prayer is like that. But one who is practicing pure devotional service need not have like that. Yes. Like Kulashekar also, the prayer is there that at the time of death he wants to remember Lord. It means that meaning there is that even at the time of the means he is enjoying the remembrance of Lord so much that even at the time of death that remembrance of Lord should continue. There Kulashekar Maharaj is not worrying about no, I should remember Lord so that I'll get liberation. But this is a different verse. Yeah, that's what Gyanis, they don't know that no Lord is very merciful and no Lord loves the devotees. So that's why he's praying like that. Because he wants liberation.
Okay, desire should not be a liberation. We can remember or we can pray the Lord. But
Yeah, if the desire is liberation, then no one will be no too much attached to that he should consciously remember the Lord. If there is devotion and there is no contamination of that liberation, then he knows that no Lord anyway anyhow will remember. That
in the case of Bhismadev also, Bhismadev
what?
prays to the Lord.
What?
In case of Bhismadev at the time of death, he prayed for the Lord and he glorified the Lord.
So devotees also may pray, but that is like they don't have any desire for liberation. They just want to remember the Lord.
Wonderful.
Because in the humility they may think no, okay, next again what life I'll get, I don't know. So let me something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, Sanatan Gopal can continue. The Lord clearly. Bro, your voice is not coming.
I'm so sorry, Prabhu. I'm so sorry. The Lord clearly describes his intimate relationship with his devotees in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 to 34. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. O son of Pratha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Sudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. How much more that this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Okay. Yeah, in the case of devotees, they may want to remember the Lord at the time of death because means they want Lord's help to remember him because it's difficult to remember because death is a very because there is a lot of pain and so that's why they may ask for the Lord to give them the strength to remember him at that time also. It's not okay. Yeah, here Prabhupada talked about that how even if some mistakes happen in devotional service, Lord oversees them and not oversees, sorry. Lord ignores them and he only sees the devotion. And also all kinds of people can practice devotional service. Yeah. If we see Jnana Yoga, only actually ideally only sannyasis should practice Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga because they should be in renounced order. And Karma Yoga generally, Karma Yoga, they have to be in Varnashram. Yes, Sanatan Gopal, any question?
So I had a question, Prabhu. I think in some of the previous verses, also probably 6th or 7th verse, also something similar came. So, Prabhu, this, of course, it is clearly mentioned here, but just trying to understand it more that if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in the devotional service, he is to be considered saintly. But the way I understand that sometimes the abominable actions, they may not be favorable for bhakti. So eventually, does it not creates deviation or some sort of for the person who is practicing? Will he not kind of deviate or have different tendencies and eventually kind of goes off if he continues that abominable practice that he might produce?
Yeah. So this actually Prabhupada explains in the purport. This is for speaking about accidental offenses, not incidental mistakes. So that is one explanation. Another explanation Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives is this actually applies to the people of people who are not in Varnashram and who are practicing devotional service, like Guha and even Gajendra and all for them. Yeah, mainly to Guha and something. There are some things like that. In Orissa also for Jagannath there is one great devotee. He has some habit of visiting prostitute and all, but he's a very advanced devotee of Lord. So even once, but he once the pujaris and all they don't allow him to enter Rath. So then he goes to the beach and there he celebrates Rath Yatra. So then this main Rath Yatra fully stops and Lord goes there only. So like that. So for these cases, this verse applies. So that is second explanation. First explanation, Prabhupada says this is for accidental offenses, not intentional offenses. And third, recently I heard is this only actually applies to those who don't have Shastriya Shraddha. Means those who are devotees also, but they are also have some material desires, they involve in material activities. So for them, so like that, there are three explanations. Yeah, actually, a devotee of the Lord means he should part of being a devotee of the Lord also means to follow the laws of the Lord, which means he should not commit sinful activities.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bro.
Okay, so you can take around this some pastimes from Shastra. Yeah, so yeah, you can think of some pastimes from Shastra where devotees who offended Lord are forgiven, and again pastimes from Shastra where devotees who offended Lord are not forgiven. And third, why they are forgiven and why they are not forgiven. You can take 7 minutes, then we'll discuss. Okay, so for the first one, some pastimes from Shastra. Okay, Ambarish Pran Prabhu.
Prabhu, Bhragumuni pastime where Bhragumuni hits Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
So he is forgiven.
Okay. Then Jiva Mataji.
Prabhuji, is the Bhrigamuni pastime the same when he kicks on Lord's chest? That one? Okay, I was going to say the same.
Okay, thank you. Next. Okay, Radhika Gopika Mataji.
Prabhuji, Indradev.
Indradev. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Okay. Anish Prabhu, Shali Mataji.
Brahma in Brahma Vimohan Leela.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Indra, Lord forgive many times, so it can be repeated also.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Mahadev Keshav Prabhu. We are not able to hear you.
Prabhuji, the one devotee who went with the South Indian Yatra with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the name is, I think, Kalachakra.
Kalakrishna Das.
Kalakrishna.
Okay. Take it. Fine. Okay, thank you. Okay, now for the second question. Where devotees offended Lord and are not forgiven. Okay. Yes, bro, you can tell. Mahadev Keshav.
The Prabhuji, the Chota Haridas.
Okay, Chota Haridas. Yeah, you can say. Okay. Sanatan Gopal Prabhu.
I had the same example, Prabhu, and that's the only example I could think of.
There are some more also.
Yeah.
Okay. Amrish Pran Prabhu.
Prabhu, Rom Harshan Sutta pastime where he doesn't get up from the Vyasasan seat.
Yeah.
And Balramji kills him.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Ashish Prabhu.
Can we say Ramchandra Puri?
Yes. Very appropriate. Thank you. Okay. Yes, Shweta Mataji.
Guruji, can we say Shishupal also, because like the 100th time he didn't Krishna didn't forgive him.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Now third question. So why they are forgiven in first case, in second case why they are not forgiven. Anyone? Yes, Shweta Mataji, you want to answer?
Prabhuji, I think when the devotees are in the mood of humility and they realize their mistakes and beg forgiveness from the Lord, then the Lord forgives.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. Okay. Yes, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu, want to add something?
Yes, Prabhu, I wrote some point, Prabhu, where there is a heart change on the positive side. Pure devotional services are there, intentions were right. So, like Bhrigamuni and all. So then it happened. And on the other hand, sometimes to set examples, like with Chota Haridas, or when the comments offenses were intentional.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Also, setting example, and that also can happen. Yes. Okay. Ashish Prabhu.
Because in some cases, if they have offended against any devotee, also then Lord will not forgive them.
Okay.
Apart from this offense against Lord.
Yes, correct. Like in case of Jagai Madhai, so Madhai also asks for forgiveness. Then Lord tells you have offended Nityanand Prabhu. Yes, correct. Okay, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Miss in the case of Sudha Thakur, Lord wanted to sannyasi should be very strict in to associate with women. That's why this not up.
Yes. Okay, yeah, nice points. Thank you. So yeah, apichetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. If bhajate mam ananyabhak is there, then Lord forgives. That is there. Okay, so yes, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu, you can continue. Here Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives one more reason for this.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these verses in this way. One should regard a devotee of Krishna to be on the right path of the saints, even though such a devotee may seem to be sudurachara, a person of loose character. One should try to understand the real purport of the word sudurachara. A conditioned soul has to act for doable functions, namely for double functions. I'm sorry. uh, Double functions, namely for the maintenance of body and again for self-realization. Social status, mental development, cleanliness, austerity, nourishment, and the struggle for existence are all for maintenance of the body. The self-realization part of one's activities is executed in one's occupation as a devotee of the Lord, and one performs actions in that connections also. One must perform these two different functions along parallel lines, because a conditioned soul cannot give up maintenance of his body, cannot give up the maintenance of his body. The proportion of activities for maintenance of the body decreases, however, in proportion to the increase in devotional service. As long as the proportion of devotional service does not come to the right point, there is a chance for an occasional exhibition of worldliness. But it should be noted that such worldliness cannot continue for long, because by the grace of the Lord, such imperfections will come to an end shortly. Therefore, the path of devotional service is the only right path. If one is on the right path, even an occasional occurrence of worldliness does not hamper one in the advancement of self-realization.
Yeah. So, example, yeah, like someone very harsh speaking, hot tempered. So those things may will get will slowly get purified. Otherwise, somebody may have a tendency to lie or boast about oneself. So like this, there will be some bad habits like that. So by the power of devotional service, slowly those things will go away. Or somebody may be put in a job where one is forced to take bribe or some things like that. So that things will, by the force of time and by the power of advancement, those things will slowly disappear. So this is like another explanation. So there are four, 5 explanations of this verse. Even if you see, there may be some devotees, may not be just our sampradaya, but other sampradaya also, who might have taken that that laddus in Tirupati, but that is not like again an intentional thing. So that just happened by accident. So by the power of devotional service, those things are forgiven. Yes, you can continue. The facilities are given.
The facilities of devotional service are denied the impersonalists because they are attached to the Brahmajyoti feature of the Lord. As suggested in the previous mantras, they cannot penetrate the Brahmajyoti because they do not believe in the personality of Godhead. Their business is mostly word jugglery and mental speculation. Consequently, the impersonalists pursue a fruitless labor, as confirmed in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita 12.5.
Yeah.
All the facilities.
Here, Prabhupada is in some way referring to Mayavadis also, Advaitins. So, so that is a difficult thing. It's because one is a person, and a person who has to focus something impersonal. So it's a very difficult thing. And yeah, in Mayavadis, they don't accept the form of the Lord, but Brahmavadis accept. So this is more referring to Mayavadis. And the facilities of the Lord the facilities of devotional service are like the mercy of the Lord and the ability to experience form of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord, etc. Yeah, you can continue all the facilities.
All the facilities suggested in the mantra can be easily obtained by constant contact with the personal features of the Absolute Truth. Devotional service to the Lord consists essentially of 9 transcendental activities. Hearing about the Lord, glorifying the Lord, remembering the Lord, serving the Lord, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping the Lord, offering prayers to the Lord, serving the Lord, enjoying friendly association with the Lord, and last, surrendering everything unto the Lord. These 9 principles of devotional service, taken all together or one by one, help a devotee remain constantly in touch with God. In this way, at the end of life, it is easy for the devotee to remember the Lord. By adopting only one of these 9 principles, the following renowned devotees of the Lord were able to achieve the highest perfection. One, by hearing the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit, the hero of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained the desired result. Second, just by glorifying the Lord, Sukadev Goswami, the speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam, attains his perfection. Third, by praying the Lord, Akrura attained the desired result. Fourth, by remembering the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj attained the desired result. Fifth, by worshipping the Lord, Prithu Maharaj attained perfection. Sixth, by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, attained perfection. Seventh, by rendering personal service to the Lord, Hanuman attained the desired result. Eighth, through his friendship with Lord, Arjun attained the desired result. Ninth, by surrendering everything he had the Lord, Maharaj Bali attained the desired result.
Yeah, so these are ways how to do devotional service. This will be discussed in detail in NOD, Ekanga Bhakti and Ekanga Bhakti and all. These are all examples are given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Sri Rupa Goswami. Yes, can continue.
Actually, the explanation of the mantra of this mantra and of practically the mantras of the Vedic hymns is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra and properly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the Vedic tree of wisdom. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular mantra is explained in the questions and answers between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukdev Goswami at the very beginning of their meeting. Hearing and chanting of the science of God is the basic principle of devotional life. The complete Bhagavatam was heard by Maharaj Parikshit and chanted by Sukdev Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Sukdev because Sukdev was a greater spiritual master than any great yogis or transcendentalists of his time. Maharaj
Okay,
Parikshit
enough. I think, okay, we will continue tomorrow. So very little portion is there, and the next purport is also very small. So we'll complete those two tomorrow, and we'll have a brief revision of the different verses and the concepts of different verses. Okay, so any questions on what we discussed today? Okay, if there are questions, okay, we'll stop here. Okay, so Shri Ishopanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.